let's take a look at some important aspects of this course. Now, you've known how to do the connection. Then how do we determine the number of fittings, the number of bulbs that you will use? How do we calculate the spacing? What should be the spacing? Let's say you are carrying out an installation for an hotel now. So what should be the spacing? Must you arrange all the bulbs horizontally, or vertically? You must understand each of this one as well, and that's why we are looking at the lighting circuits and the fittings calculations as well in this tutorial, so that it will help you to know the intensity of light that is expected for a particular installation, and it will enable you to carry out your calculation correctly as specified by your employer or by your client in the specification that is given to you. Now, let's take a look at some of the basic terms that we need to consider here. We talk about the luminous intensity. This term is the luminous intensity, and it is measured in candela from the word candle. That is where it comes from. And we have another one here, and that is a luminous flux in lumen. Then we have a illuminance in lux, or lm slash m lm per meter square. So now this bulb, what is the luminous intensity? So this is a bulb. Then here there is the distance between this place and this place, and down to this place is talking about something. This mark you have here is talking about something. So we are going to understand that in the next slide. Now let's take a look at this now. The basic terms. What are they? The luminous intensity. Now, the luminous intensity is a measure of how bright something is. Now, how bright is this bulb that is being installed in this installation? That is the luminous intensity, and it is measured in candela. Then let's take a look at the another one there, that is luminous flux. Now, when you look at luminous flux, so luminous flux can be basically thought of as how much visible light is actually being produced by the light source. Now, in this case, the light source is this bulb that we have here, that is being installed to the roof of this building. How much of this light is being produced? That is what we call the luminous intensity. And if you look at that, it is measured in lumen. Remember, luminous flux can be basically thought of as how much visible light is actually being produced by the light source. Now, the third one is talking about illuminance. Now, what is illuminance? Illuminance has to do with the amount of visible light that is falling on a surface, and is measured in lux. So, which can be defined as lumens per meter square. That is the illuminance. What is the amount of visible light that is falling? That is falling on a surface. That is talking about the illuminance. Let's take a look at another important term. Here we talk about the recommendation by the Chartered Institution of Building Services Engineer. Now, according to the CIBSE, the Chartered Institution of Building Services Engineer, it is recommended that for hospital operating theater, and also for sports welding bay, the illuminance should be 1000 lux. Then for supermarkets, the car showrooms, the drawing boards, the illuminance should be 750 lux. And for general office, the small retail outlet, the reception, we should have 500 lux. For public areas in banks, hospital exam rooms, it should be 300 lux. And for staff canteens, corridors in commercial buildings, we should have the illuminance to be 200 lux. Then for bedroom at home, the commercial kitchen storage, it should be 150 lux. And for warehouse stores, the general domestic lighting, we should have 100 lux. So this is what is recommended by this body. Then let's take a look at another term. is talking about the luminous efficacy. Now, when you look at the word luminous efficacy, it is a measure of how well a light source converts electrical energy into visible light. That is the luminous efficacy. Then the question now is, how then do we calculate the number of lamps that we need? There are different methods of doing this, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll be looking at the method that is called the lumen method. Now, in this lumen method, for a lightning design with a uniform distribution of luminance, we have the uniformity of the illuminance to be equivalent to the minimum illuminance over area divided by area illuminance over area. That is the formula for that. And to now calculate the level of illumination, we have capital letter E, which is equals to small letter n multiplied by capital letter N multiplied by capital letter F multiplied by MF multiplied by UF divided by A. So in this case, the small letter n is the number of lamps in the luminal, and we have capital letter N to be the number of luminals, and we have F to be the lumens per lamp. We have our MF to be the maintenance factor, and we have our UF to be utilization factor. Now, if I make my capital letter N the subject of the formula, so this is what I'm going to have now. So I will have this now. If I make N capital letter N the subject of the formula, so that means now I've transposed it to this, and I have capital letter E multiplied by A divided by N multiplied by F multiplied by MF and multiplied by UF. So it should be noted that this is an estimate for the number of luminous based on them being arranged into a regular array. In other words, we talk about 3 by 3, 6 by 4, 2 by 5, 2 by 5, and so on and so forth. Let's take a look at some of these terms that we have in this formula, like maintenance factor. What is a maintenance factor? A maintenance factor is basically a comparison of what? Comparison of light. So when brand new and when it has been in use for some time, based on research and experience over the years, it has shown that as time goes on, dirt will become deposited on the lamps, and the surfaces and the lamp itself will lose output over time. Therefore, there is a need for comparison of that light when it is brand new and when it has been in use for certain time. So that is what we call the maintenance factor, which is MF. And looking at this MF itself, it is made up of various factors such as the lamp lumen maintenance factor LLF. Then we have the luminal maintenance factor LMF, the lamp survival factor LSF, and the room surface maintenance factor RSMF.